At school, it's another day at Madame Gazelle's school, where she is chatting with her cheerful class. The blackboard is full of colorful dinosaur drawings, and the teacher smiles, ready to start the lesson. Madame Gazelle then says to her students,
Today, we're going to talk about fascinating creatures, dinosaurs. They lived a long, long time ago, but we mustn't forget them.
The children cheer with excitement, especially George, who loves dinosaurs. Once, while at Grandpa Pig's house, he even managed to find a dinosaur bone. Madame Gazelle then explains to her students about various kinds of dinosaurs that existed a long, long time ago. And you could see how fascinated the students were, especially George, who exclaims happily,
Roar! Dinosaur!
Wow! I wish I could see a real dinosaur.
Peppa says, imagining what it would be like to live in the time of dinosaurs. The children had no idea that Madame Gazelle had a surprise in store for them. The teacher approaches a covered aquarium, then smiles as she reveals a small lizard. Very excited, she says to the class,
Well, children, I brought someone special for us to meet. This is Dino, a lizard. While he isn't a real dinosaur, he's a reptile, just like the dinosaurs were. We could even say he's a great-grandson of the dinosaurs from the past.
The children are amazed, especially George, who can't stop staring at Dino. Peppa notices her little brother is eager to spend more time with the lizard, so she asks the teacher,
Can we take care of him this weekend, Madame Gazelle? I'm sure it would be a lot of fun.
Hearing Peppa ask this, George is thrilled at the idea of having a dinosaur as a pet. It would be a dream come true for the little piggy.
Ah, that's a great idea, Peppa. But I must say, taking care of an animal is no easy task. He'll need a lot of attention, food, and a comfortable place to stay,
said Madame Gazelle to Peppa and George, who listened carefully. The teacher then proposes an idea to the class.
Peppa, George, would you like to take Dino home for the weekend?
With the help of your parents, of course. This way you can learn about the responsibility of having a pet.
Yes, let's do it, George.
Peppa says delighted, and George agrees. With Madame Gazelle's permission and the class's support, Peppa and George leave school excited, carrying little Dino in the aquarium. Daddy Pig, who had just arrived to pick up his children, sees their excitement and begins to explain the importance of taking good care of their new friend.
Taking care of a pet is a big responsibility, my little ones. We need to make sure Dino is happy and healthy during his stay. Let's learn together what he needs.
At home. Soon after, Peppa and George arrive home with Dino, the lizard, in his little aquarium, while Daddy Pig helps them find a good spot for the new guest of the family. Daddy Pig says to his children,
All right, kids, where do you think Dino will feel comfortable?
Maybe in my room. This way, he won't be lonely.
says Peppa. George quickly adds,
Or near the garden. He can see the plants.
Daddy Pig chuckles, but he helps them place Dino's aquarium in the living room, where everyone can watch him.
Here. He'll have plenty of light and can see us during the day. Now, let's learn what he eats.
Daddy Pig shows them a small container of special insect food and explains how they should feed him with a specific amount. Peppa and George watch with curiosity, and George immediately wants to give Dino a big serving of food. George imagines that Dino must be very hungry. He thinks, I'll give him all the food. But Daddy Pig kindly says to his son,
Oh, George, just a little at a time. That way, Dino will have energy and stay healthy all weekend.
George understands what his dad said and puts a small amount of food in the aquarium, while Peppa and Daddy Pig watch proudly. The following morning, Peppa and George wake up early and rush to see Dino. To their surprise, Dino seems to be hiding among some leaves in the aquarium, looking sleepy. Peppa thinks Dino might be a bit shy, so she decides to add more food to cheer him up. George then appears holding his favorite toy, the dinosaur, and shows it to Dino to encourage him to come out from the leaves. Dino moves a little but doesn't react as George expected, and the siblings start to realize they need to be patient with him. Daddy Pig arrives with a towel and some cleaning supplies and says to the children,
Pepper and George, are you two ready for one of the most important parts? We need to clean the aquarium. Dino needs a clean space to be happy. Don't you agree?
Clean? But I wanted to play with him. Daddy, thinking about it, I don't think dinosaurs need cleaning. Right, George?
Peppa responds, looking at her little brother. Daddy Pig laughs and explains that all animals need a clean environment to stay healthy, just like we do. After some explanation, he convinces them to do a division of tasks. Peppa takes care of cleaning the glass, while George replaces the leaves in the aquarium with Daddy Pig's help. Visitors. While cleaning, Madame Gazelle stops by for a quick visit to check on Dino. After Peppa opens the door and invites her in, Madame Gazelle says to everyone,
I can see Dino is being well cared for. You two are doing a wonderful job. I'm sure Daddy Pig is showing you how important responsibility is when we're caring for another living being.
Peppa and George feel proud but soon notice a new problem. Dino seems quieter than before, almost as if he's sad. Peppa then starts to wonder, why does Dino look so quiet? Daddy Pig notices and comments to his daughter,
I think you're wondering why Dino seems so quiet. Aren't you, Peppa? Sometimes, when animals move to a new place, they miss their home. I have an idea, kids. We could give him a little extra attention to help him feel at home.
With this in mind, Peppa and George try to spend as much time as possible near Dino, telling stories and even singing songs. However, Dino remains quiet, and the siblings begin to worry. Daddy Pig steps in and suggests an idea.
Maybe Dino needs a peaceful rest. Animals enjoy tranquility.
Oh, so we can't play too close to him?
Peppa asks.
Exactly, Peppa. Animals need calm and kindness to feel comfortable.
They decide to watch Dino from a distance, learning to respect his space and time. Finally, after a while, Dino emerges from his hiding spot, and George smiles, happy to see that the little animal seems more lively. Later, Peppa and George receive a visit from Susie, who wants to see the new dinosaur they're caring for. She asks the two piggy siblings,
But I came to see how the dinosaur you brought home is doing. Can I play with him?
Roar, but he doesn't like too much fuss.
says George, showing that he learned his dad's earlier lesson. Peppa explains to Susie that they've learned animals need a lot of care, peace, and proper feeding. Susie is impressed with how much Peppa and George have learned in such a short time. Peppa's best friend learns that having a pet requires patience and kindness. Peppa and George reflect on this, and Daddy Pig smiles, seeing that his children are beginning to understand the importance of responsible care. The story continues with Peppa and George following Daddy and Madame Gazelle's advice, taking turns feeding Dino and keeping his space clean, always respecting his space throughout the weekend. Dino escapes! On Sunday afternoon, the Pig family is enjoying their last day with Dino before returning him to school. While Daddy Pig and Mummy Pig are in the kitchen, Peppa and George decide to take one final look at the little lizard to make sure he's comfortable. Peppa then says to her brother,
Let's see if Dino wants a little more food before he goes, George.
George nods excitedly and carefully opens the aquarium to add a bit of food. However, he gets distracted and forgets to close the lid. Before they know it, Dino quickly escapes from the aquarium and runs to the other side of the room. Peppa notices and tells the startled George.
Oh no, Dino's escaped.
Peppa and George chase after Dino, who is now hiding behind the sofa. They try calling him back gently to avoid scaring him, but Dino seems very nervous and hides even more. Peppa starts to feel very worried and says to George,
Mommy and Daddy will be so sad if we can't get Dino back. He trusted us, George, and now he's lost.
At that moment, George begins to feel the responsibility of what happened and realizes it was a mistake not to close the aquarium properly. Feeling sorry, he thinks he should have been more careful. The little pig had wanted so much to play with Dino that he ended up letting him escape. Peppa notices her little brother is feeling down and encourages him.
It's okay, George. We'll fix this together. We need to be calm, like Daddy taught us. He said animals need peace.
They both take a deep breath, and instead of running after the lizard, they decide to be calm. Peppa goes to the kitchen and grabs a fresh lettuce leaf, knowing that Dino likes it. She kneels near the sofa, gently waving the lettuce and calling Dino softly.
Come on, Dino, it's okay. We're here to take care of you.
Watching Peppa's approach, George also crouches down beside her, waiting patiently. Gradually, Dino moves closer to the lettuce, and confidently, he appears for the two siblings. George feels relieved and happy and says,
We did it, Peppa. Dino came back because we were calm and patient.
The two carefully place Dino back in the aquarium and securely close the lid. At that moment, Daddy Pig enters and observes their care with admiration and says to them,
You two have truly learned how to care for Dino. Taking care of a pet is a big responsibility, and knowing how to be calm and patient is very important.
Peppa and George look at each other and think this was all absolutely true. After putting Dino back safely, Peppa and George look at the little lizard affectionately, satisfied with their weekend of adventures and learning. Dino goes home. After the weekend, early Monday morning, Daddy Pig takes Peppa, George, and Dino to school, as his job of teaching his children about responsibility has come to an end. When it's time to return Dino, Peppa and George say goodbye, feeling a little sad but proud that they were responsible in taking care of an animal. Madame Gazelle approaches Peppa, George, and Daddy Pig, saying,
It seems you did an excellent job caring for Dino. He's happy and healthy thanks to you.
Yes, we learned that taking care of a pet is more than just playing. We have to feed, clean, and give attention very carefully.
Peppa says, smiling with satisfaction. George adds to his sister's words.
And patience. dinosaurs like,
Hearing this, their teacher is very pleased. Madame Gazelle praises the siblings' efforts, and the family says their goodbyes to Dino. She also adds,
That's right, children. The responsibility of caring for an animal is like caring for a dear friend. It takes time, love, and respect.
Madame Gazelle commends them in front of the whole class, and then Daddy Pig concludes the lesson by speaking to all the students.
Children, Pepper and George have learned the great responsibility of taking care of a pet. It's not just about playing. It's about caring, respecting, and paying attention. We must be attentive to all their needs, even if they can't speak our language. It's much like the way each of your parents once took care of you when you were just little babies who couldn't speak yet. Thanks to their care, each of you is now strong and healthy.
With big smiles, Peppa and George wave to Dino as he returns to Madame Gazelle's care, ready to share their weekend experience with all their classmates. As they walk back inside, Peppa makes one last amusing comment.
Daddy, it was really nice having Dino with us all weekend. But I think George and I are still too young for such a big responsibility. For now, it's probably best if we just stick to the goldfish.
Everyone is surprised by Peppa's thoughtful remark, and of course they agree with her. Everyone then has a good laugh. Certainly during this weekend with the little lizard Dino, Peppa and George learned that caring for another living being is a big responsibility, even if it's just a pet. With patience and love, they made Dino feel at home and showed that love for animals shines through in small actions. Just as we care for animals, we can also help and care for others, whether they're younger or older than us. If you enjoyed the story, like and comment below the video. And we enjoyed your company so much that we're leaving 2 great videos here for you to keep watching with us.